So I fell into this pattern here today, looking at 2 Kings chapter 2. You know, in the book of Joel, we talk about this unusual form of transportation that's mentioned there that looks similar to Elijah's chariots of fire. So I decided to look into this today, and I was kind of spurred by something that someone had on a show that came in my feed, and they were talking mostly about these places that they went to and how that might be similar to our journey that we've been on with the different invitations that went out for the rapture. And this is a story about Elijah and Elisha. So think about that. You've got the senior prophet who then gives his mantle to the junior prophet, who then becomes a double portion for him, for Elisha. Okay? So when the Lord was about to take Elijah up to heaven in a whirlwind, so think about the rapture when we're talking about this, Elijah and Elisha were traveling from Gilgal. Okay? Now Gilgal translates to the stone rolled away. It's kind of like two different meanings there, but you can kind of put them together and sort of get some meaning from the stone rolled away from that. So of course that's Jesus and the resurrection. And Elijah said to Elisha, "Stay here, for the Lord has told me to go to Bethel." Sorry, it's jumping around a lot. So Bethel means the house of God, so that would be like the church, the body of Christ. Okay, but Elisha replied, "As surely as the Lord lives and you yourself live, I will never leave you." So they went down together to Bethel. Okay, so basically they traveled from one place to the next place, and he's still faithful to him. Elisha did not leave him, and he stayed loyal. Okay, so think about that, and think about our faith journey here that we've been doing. The group of prophets from Bethel came to Elisha and asked him, "Do you know that the Lord is going to take your master away from you today?" And this is asked the first time. And he said, "Of course I know," Elisha answered, "but be quiet about it." Then Elijah said to Elisha, "Stay here, for the Lord has told me to go to Jericho." Okay, so they're about to go to another place. But Elisha replied again, "As surely as the Lord lives, you yourself live, I will never leave you." So again, he's loyal. They've gone from one place to another, or from one date to another, and he is still loyal. Okay? Then the group of prophets from Jericho came to Elisha and asked him, "Do you know that the Lord is going to take away your master from you today?" And he said, "Of course I know," Elisha answered, "but be quiet about it." Then Elijah said to Elisha, "Stay here, for the Lord has told me to go to the Jordan River." Okay? Now I think I forgot to tell you what Jericho means. Okay? So Jericho was a little bit difficult for me to kind of figure out, but I'm going to come over here and show you what I wrote over here. So it means like two different things. It means fragrance or aroma, and it also means like a moon. Okay? So I looked up what the moon meanings were. And it's like a lesser light to reflect the greater light. So like we are the reflection of Christ. Like he's, we're Christ-like, or we reflect Christ's message inside of our bodies and also with our lives. And then the fragrance of Christ is on us, like we are a pleasing aroma to God. Okay? And so if we've gotten to this point where we started up here at Gilgal, we went to Bethel, and now we're at Jericho. So we're at kind of the last leg of the race here, and that means that we are truly His. We're reflecting Jesus in us with our faith, and that is a pleasing aroma to God. Okay. All right. So then we get down here to the Jordan River. "Stay here, for the Lord has told me to go to the Jordan River," which is a symbol, and I'm going to move my Bible up because I'm getting a little too close. I can't show you the screen here. All right. We're getting close to the symbol here that the Jordan River is the rapture. Okay. Now, the translation of what Jordan River means from the Hebrew is a transition or new beginnings, okay? And then if you look at it, maybe we'll just go ahead and read it. But again, Elisha replied, "As surely as the Lord lives and you yourself live, I will never leave you." So they went on together. So I put little stars by every time that they were, that Elisha was faithful. So we have 1 here, 2, 3 times, okay? So 3 times along this journey that we've been on, and I've been calling it a rapture roller coaster, but let's think of it as like a journey this time. We have stayed with him. We have not let the date come and gone and take our oil away or take our faith away or jump out of the boat or however you want to think about it. We have been with him the whole time, okay? Now, sometimes we pick ourselves back up and dust ourselves off and go like, I'm a little dazed and confused by that one, Lord, but we're still here. We're still believing and we're still saying that this is happening, right? All right, so then it says, 50 men from the group of prophets also went and watched from a distance as Elijah and Elisha stopped beside the Jordan River. Then Elijah folded his cloak together and struck the water with it. The river divided, and the 2 of them went across on the dry land, okay, or dry ground. So now think about that. When we first started all of this, what did Joshua tell us? Well, he told us that we were going to be in an exodus, right? What's the kind of culminating point in that story where their backs are up against the Red Sea and God parts the waters for them. So it's kind of like he's tying these 2 stories together with the rapture, because if you look over in the book of Joel, we're about to go up like Elijah did, but we have a little task to do for God first, okay? So if you haven't gone over and checked out those Bible studies, you might want to see what's going to happen next in that. It's Joel chapter 1, chapter 2 on this channel, okay? All right, let's keep going here. I think I read this. When they came together to the other side, Elijah said to Elijah, "Tell me, what can I do for you before I'm taken away?" Okay? So this dry ground, of course, is a representation of the promised land or heaven where we're going. And then he says, Elisha replied, "Please let me, girls, I'm videoing. I'm videoing. Sorry, they're coming in from outside." And Elisha replied, "Please let me inherit a double share of your spirit and become your successor." Okay? So now if you go to the book of Joel, you'll see that that's where the verse is in chapter 2, about I will pour out my spirit on all flesh, your sons and daughters will prophesy, all of those things. And we've seen like a taste of that now in these last days, but I'm pretty sure that when I was doing that, it actually says then. So there's like a sequence of events, and then like the real outpouring is going to happen when they are here. He's going to help them, okay? So that should give you some comfort too if you have people that are still, kind of on the fence, or they're probably not going to get in the boat with us, that he is going to provide for them, okay? All right, so this would be the tribulation saints, because the Elijah would be the senior or the elder in the role of the prophets here, and then Elisha is the junior or the one that's going to take over, all right? "You have asked a difficult thing," Elijah replied. "If you see me when I am taken from you, then you will get your request. But if not, then you won't." As they were walking along and talking, suddenly a chariot of fire appeared, drawn by horses of fire. It drove between the 2 men, separating them, and Elijah was carried by a whirlwind into heaven. Give me 1 second, I gotta get some water. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. You can't talk to me right now, baby. You have to wait. All right, so Elisha saw it, cried out, my father, I see the chariots and the charioteers of Israel I need you to go away. Sorry, my daughter's hovering over me. I can't concentrate. And as they disappeared from sight, Elisha tore his clothes in distress. Okay, and that's what they do, like when they're mourning, that somebody's, something's happened to somebody, or they're, just some kind of distress. Elisha picked up Elijah's cloak, which had fallen when he was taken up, and Elisha returned to the bank of the Jordan River. He struck the water with Elijah's cloak and cried out, "Where is the Lord, the God of Elijah?" Then the river divided, and Elisha went across. So I guess when he, first did it, he didn't get anything, and so he had to do it again. All right, or had to get the power from on high. All right. When the group of prophets from Jericho saw from a distance what happened, they exclaimed, "Elijah's spirit rests upon Elisha." And they went to meet him and bowed to the ground before him. "Sir," they said, "just say the word, and 50 of our strongest men will search the wilderness for your master. Perhaps the Spirit of the Lord has left him on some mountain or some valley." Okay? So now I want you to think about this too, because when we get to the part, I'm pretty sure it's in the book of Matthew, he's telling them, they're going to say, "I'm out in the wilderness, don't go out there." They're going to say he's in the inner rooms, don't go out there either. So some people, I think, might be tricked if someone says, "Well, Jesus is over here, come on, we're going to go now, it's our turn." And so if they don't know their scriptures very well, they might be fooled for that. So I think there's a little bit of a type or shadow right here for searching for your master, or searching for Jesus, looking for Jesus after the rapture is what I've got written here on the side, if you can see that. Okay. No, Elisha said, "Don't send them." But they kept urging him until they shamed him into agreeing, and he finally said, "All right, send them." So 50 men searched for 3 days, but did not find Elijah. Elisha was still at Jericho when they returned. "Didn't I tell you not to go?" he asked. Okay. So I think some of the people who are left behind are going to know that it was the rapture, even though they may not know why they weren't taken. They're going to understand that this was Jesus because all the kids are gone. Okay. But then some people may be still thinking, well, maybe he's coming a different time for us, or maybe he's, going to meet us over here. They're saying something's happening over here. But, don't fall for that, because they may try to trick them and it may be an ambush, okay? So just think about that. And I thought there was just some cool patterns in here. I think I talked about all of them. But yeah, there's a lot of things in here that are really parallel to what we're dealing with right now. And the fact that we have some symbology that we are going to be taken up as Elijah was. And then we've got the 3 places, journeys, and, the loyalty where I'm not going to leave you, and things like that. So, and also the names of what the places mean, I think is interesting too. So take a look at this today and, see if you see anything else. There is something about this 3 days here. I haven't looked up what 3 means again. I can't remember off the top of my head, but if you guys think about that, or if you know what that means, you can put it in the comments. That might have some spiritual significance prophetically here too. All right. Okay. I love you guys.